Okay, I have made fun of the Arkham games in the past, but that was more for satire since in actuality, the games have usually been pretty good, at least from a mechanic standpoint. But one thing that I have always disliked about the sequels to the Arkham series is that the games often try to widen its focus, and in doing so, it starts to feel watered down, if not just stupid. You see, a superhero is only as good as the villains that he is put up against. The better and more fleshed out the villains, then consequently the better and more fleshed out the hero should be. And that's one reason why I've loved the Batman comics. They were not afraid to spend whole issues of a Batman series just on the villains, learning about what they are doing, and the only time you would see Batman in the whole comic might be a picture of him scowling over the building looking all menacing. And that's fine. They trusted that the reader can handle a little bit of exposition, and it paid off with Batman being an incredibly popular hero. The problem I've had with most of the Arkham content is that for the most part, only two people have had good looks into their characters. Well, actually one, if you consider Batman a product of the villainy in Gotham rather than a true character. A point of view that does have some ground considering the history. And I understand the whole two sides of the same coin dichotomy. But outside of the old audio logs, you're not going to be treated to much character development. Now, for the first two games, that was fine. You focused on Batman and the Joker, and the twist ending at the end of Arkham City was truly enjoyable, and showed just how cunning the Joker can be. Now, I know that a lot of people have problems with Arkham Origins when they gave you those damned overpowered shotgunlets, but in terms of storytelling, it's up there with some of the best in the series. They introduced Bane, who at first I thought would be just another Joker lackey like everyone else, but they quickly showed Bane as a man who would follow his own path, with the standard wait to dodge scenario and see him run into a wall tactic. But I guess beggars can't be choosers, and before the Arkham series, we were begging for a decent superhero game. And speaking of fights, the Deathstroke fight in Arkham Origins is probably one of the most satisfying boss fights I've played in a long time. And I'm not the only one who thinks so, when you can just go on the internet and look back at all the people complaining that the Deathstroke fight was a little bit too difficult, which makes perfect sense, when in the DC universe, Deathstroke has beaten Batman in single combat more times than he has lost, so it makes sense that the fight would be hard. But, just for reference, let's look at how Rocksteady handled the Deathstroke fight in Arkham Knight, for comparison.
You can't go the distance with me!
Oh, Deathstroke was in a fucking tank. And not only that, but after jumping out of the tank, Batman took care of him like he was taking his trash out to the side of the road. Absolutely terrible. What a perfect way to make me feel like Batman, Rocksteady. Let's take the most dangerous and skilled assassin in the game and toss him into a tank. Another character in Arkham Origins that they gave some backstory to was Harley Quinn. Now granted, they did it through the Joker's mental mission, but damn it, I will take what I can get at this point. While wandering through the darkness, you will hear conversations between Miss Harleen Quinzel and the Joker, learning more about how and why she fell in love with the Clown Prince of Crime. And while not the way I would have preferred them to do it, I still appreciate the effort to flesh out the crazy couple. And in terms of DLC, Arkham Origins has the best DLC for the Arkham series in my opinion, in Cold Night, which focused on the history of Victor Freeze and how he found himself in the situation of becoming the Iceman. It seems he was doing everything he could to find a cure for his wife's disease that was killing her, and that is a reason that a lot of people can sympathize with. And now we come down to talk about the Arkham Knight, and I'll be frank. It's a piece of shit. I hate it. I don't hate the game, mind you. I think technically it is a very sound game, but the treatment of the characters is just shit. I was already mad at Arkham Origins for its filler villains, but damn, at least they tried to show the story to some of the villains, But Arkham Knight doesn't give a fuck. All it wants you to do is drive the Bat Tank. And no, it's not the Batmobile. It stopped being the Batmobile when he strapped that cannon on top of it, started running through walls, and ramming people off the road at 100 miles an hour, and watching them bounce off like a piñata as if I'm playing Twisted Metal or something. That is the fucking Bat Tank. And to top it all off is just how they wasted so many good villains and had you driving around Gotham collecting them like Pokemon. Now, I stated before in the past Arkham games that I didn't waste my time doing the Riddler missions because I had other things to do. And now, this has proven that I will never do it, because through some kind of magic MacGuffin, the Riddler has somehow managed to build what seems like $1 million Bat Tank theme park for you to drive around in. Now, these missions have always pissed me off because while the Riddler can be a little eccentric, his overall goal has never been to kill the Batman, but to prove that he is smarter than the Batman, and if he could kill him while proving that, then all the better, to be acknowledged for just how great his mind is. But I will admit that I do like how they gave a little backstory about Jason Todd, and how he was captured and tortured by the Joker, and how Commissioner Gordon feels about the Joker shooting his daughter. But then again, it kind of made the Arkham Knight reveal pretty obvious. I'm not saying that they didn't try, I'm saying that it's just not memorable. And finally, let's move on to the darling of destruction, my girl Harley Quinn, who, with the Joker dead for God only knows how long, this is the time for her to come into her own character in the Arkham series, so that she's not just another pair of nice tits to look at. They even promote her as Day 1 DLC, so obviously she will play a major role. Or she will get taken hostage and do absolutely nothing. God damn it. The hyped up DLC for this game only amounts to a lot of screaming and red ink on the walls. This is the best they could do to illustrate that she may have become a little bit more unhinged since the Joker died. But it is not all bad. I do like how Harley seems to care a lot about Poison Ivy, which I want to say is a nod to DC finally admitting that Ivy and Harley are in a bisexual relationship. But I'm sure that's not the case, because even in that mission, it's just her following someone else's orders as the Penguin is pissing in her ear. So that's great. She went from being the Joker's girl to now just a glorified henchman. And I understand that some of you might be saying that I'm being a little bit too harsh. And maybe you're right. So let's take a look at the character development of Harley Quinn in Arkham Knight. Oh yeah, there we go. That's some well-rounded plot development right there. Look at it. Looks delicious. Okay, look, I'm a man, and I love my tits and I love my ass, and damn it, I appreciate this scene. But balance it out, damn it! Even Poison Ivy gets more character growth, and she's walking around half naked. They should have taken out half those driving missions and focused more on villain growth. And as I said before, I don't completely hate the Arkham series. These are just some gripes that I have with the series as a whole because of the treatment of the characters. The gameplay is always spot on with the dancing back and forth in combat. It can be very cathartic, except for the Bat Tank. You can throw that away. Now, I have heard that there will be DLC for the game, and I am hoping that the DLC will go a long way towards fixing my particular issues with the game, and give highlight to a few more characters other than Batman and the Joker. Oh well, I have talked enough about this, and it's time for me to go to bed. You all have a blessed day, and I hope to see you next time. Perhaps then I'll have a better topic to talk about.